We want to talk about the president's trip. The president has been in quite a few places in the last several weeks, and I have with me the Senior Special Assistant on Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ademola Oshodi. Mr. Oshodi, you are welcome to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much, Laulu.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, can you just give us a little gist of the highlights, or the takeaways of the president's trip? Recently, the president's been to Brazil, he's been to South Africa, he's been to Paris.
Yes.
What will you say are the highlights of these trips that could possibly excite the Nigerian people?
Thank you. The biggest highlight would be the statement that Nigeria is open for business. The president went to those three countries you mentioned to encourage foreign direct investment into Nigeria, to encourage partnership in mutually beneficial areas, and in many cases to also ensure that we basically hold our place and increase our place in the global space. Issues of diplomacy and Nigeria's right and position in the global south, right, in Africa, and in the trade with Europe. It's very key points the president made there. And Laulu, the president was very successful. He got a lot of commitments for foreign investments. I know in Brazil there was this $2.5 billion on livestock investment. There was a letter of intent signed in that new area of focus by the administration.
That's a commitment of $2.5 billion.
Exactly.
That's from Brazil.
From Brazil. From
the
business community. Okay. So that's massive. That's very good.
Is it from one interest, or that's a collection of?
It's one major company. Okay. But that major company obviously has subsidiaries and investments from other Brazilian companies, but it's one major company.
And that would be in the area of agriculture?
Agriculture on livestock.
On livestock, okay.
So, we need to obviously have a more organized fashion with the livestock industry rather than the nomads that we are, the nomadic industry that we have in Nigeria at the moment. Right. And in France, huge commitment. We have the 300 million euros for the agric and agric space in Nigeria, which the French government signed with the Nigerian government. It's more like a financial assistance. And we have the UNESCO Institute being built in Abuja, where the French government helped initiate. So these are very landmark achievements by the president, and it is good. I mean, South Africa, you can talk about the long history Nigeria has had with South Africa, going down the apartheid time, and also Mandela and the rest, even, the South African government fighting the military rule in Nigeria. But President Bola Tinubu went there for business. Right. And we got a lot of commitments regarding all the investments coming in, South African investments expanding. But more importantly, Nigeria's need South Africa's need to open up the economy more for Nigerian investors. The Dangotes and the Access banks are there already. But there are other people more interested in investing in that space. South Africa has a trade deficit with Nigeria, with a crude export to South Africa.
Interesting.
So it's good. It's Nigeria is open for business. Okay.
Exciting. Okay. So, quite a few issues that we can take from there.
Yep.
But I want to start from the personal angle. It seems that the president hit it off very well with the president of France. Now, what do you think is responsible for that?
I'll tell you right now that it's in France. Nigeria had this long history with France, especially the fact that Nigeria is surrounded by French-speaking countries, so it's very strategic. And Nigeria is taking full advantage, or maybe France, is taking full advantage of this geopolitical shift. The French, Francophone countries in Africa are really shutting their doors to France and, removing military assistance that France provides. So, for whatever reason. But Nigeria's relationship with France is mutual. We don't have the colonial history. We don't have any cultural relation. But we can take advantage of this, whereby France is not getting acceptance in parts of Africa, but Nigeria is always open. Yeah. And France can be one of the competing countries that can be, come and invest in Nigeria, and Nigeria invest in France, vice versa.
Right. So, sorry for interrupting. And the reason why I brought up that personal stuff is that, of course, clearly you could see that there's chemistry, but of course the flip side of it is that people say that, oh, look, I mean, at the time when France is losing some of its relationship, I think from Guinea, Niger,
Mali,
that is why, that's why France is eventually opening up to Nigeria. How do you respond to that?
Yes, it's partly, but there's also that the opportunities that the Nigerian space provides. Nigerian economy has been opened up by the president. Opportunities to invest in Nigeria. It's not just France. There's also the Chinese, the Brazilians. There's the Indians. It's a lot of investment coming in. But France, being a European power and being relatively new to, I would say, compared to the British, to the Americans, is expanding on their investment. They already have, I think, they have more investments in Nigeria than even the UK, I believe. So it's an opportunity for France to take advantage of. It's business. It is purely business. And it's mutual. People in Francophone countries will say, France has been very imposing, it affects their sovereignty, but not in Nigeria. It's a mutual symbiotic relationship at Johannesson.
I think, certainly the visit to Paris, and to South Africa, even to Brazil, is good for the president, clearly, even at a time when some of his predecessors, at least one of them, is saying that Nigeria is a failed state. It's good to see the president in front of the global leaders that matter. And the reason why I bring that up is that, and just like you said, Nigeria is not a country that can be ignored, based on the sheer number, and what that entails, and I believe, and this is my view, I'll let you make your comment after that, I believe that with the strength of our economy, and I'm talking about the numbers, and the resources of our people, the resilience of the Nigerian people, there's no reason why Nigeria shouldn't be doing business in a mutual way that can advance the interest of our people. But we have to put our house in order first.
Absolutely. That's why we have the reforms. We have the President Bola Tinubu led administration reforms. The reforms are very painful, as you probably know, but they're necessary. We can't keep doing the same thing and expect same results. So you know how that old cliche goes. So we have those reforms. Those reforms are necessary. It's basically attracted investors. It showed the international community, especially the business community, that Nigeria is serious. Nigeria is serious. Nigeria has finally been able to bite the bullet and make those take those difficult steps.
Right.
So with those reforms, I remember writing a piece in the paper, and I was comparing it historically to other reformers in the past that had a lot of kickback to. You talk about in China, when they opened up the economy with Jia Jianming, just after President Mao died.
Right.
And, they changed their whole system, and from the capitalist to more open market economy. And it was very painful. But look at China now.
Right.
We talk about, Russia's Boris Yeltsin from a Soviet economy, when everything was subsidized bread and everything, fuel. Now it's, and there was chaos in that period. You remember the Chechen war and everything.
Right.
Because it's even a coup plot.
True.
So it transformed the Russian economy. Obviously, Russia is a different situation right now.
That's true.
And then you talk about Margaret Thatcher, the Thatcherites.
Yeah.
She broke the back of the unions. She removed the welfare state of the British economy, where everybody was expecting subsidies or expecting tax rebate or, the massive coal miners strike. I don't know. I love history, so I know all these things.
I'm a good of history too.
Yes. So President Bola Tinubu is taking Nigeria through a reform process that is rather painful.
Yeah,
but it is very, very
clearly. I mean, I think that the president gets credit for his boldness and courage. And it's not a new thing. We've always known that he's a bold politician. The problem, though, and I would like you to address it, Mr. Oshodi, is that for the most part, Nigerians don't feel that they are in the same boat with the president. People agree, it makes sense that, look, we have to take tough decisions. Look, this subsidy regime is clearly going, it's a drain on the economy. But they don't feel that the president is also tightening his belt. Shouldn't the president do a little bit more to show that he also, and his administration, members of his government, and not just president alone, even some of the governors, to show the Nigerian people that, hey, we too, we are tightening our belt. What do you think?
I believe he's tightening belts. I remember a while back, there was a statement whereby he cut down people following him with foreign travels, entourage. There was also the issues around many agencies. There's going to be a streamline of this agency with the Orosari report. So all these things are taking shape. And there's also more of accountability. So each minister or ministry has this level of accountability whereby, how do you spend your money? What are your KPIs? So there's a conscious effort to ensure that governance is not too expensive and it's not large in other people. So it's there. But I want to clearly state that coming from where we're coming from, Nigeria, President Tinubu's reform has brought tremendous amount of FDI, foreign direct investment.
Already?
There's 30 billion. There's like 30 billion.
Promises.
30 billion. A lot of them are in the country. A lot of them, petrochemical, agriculture, a lot of them are in the country. It's things you can fact check. Yeah. So it's where those reforms manifest to. So it's painful, but it's bringing money in, and we can see the change in obviously the oil production has jumped up from 1.5 to 1.8 hovering a bit million barrels a day.
We're going to get it to 2 million.
We can hopefully get it even higher, but we don't want to depend too much on that industry. Yeah. We want to diversify. That's what got us in trouble here. If oil prices fall, we're in crap. So the key here is to think about how his profile, especially with his foreign travel, has helped bring about needed attention and investment in Nigeria, and possibly provided more security for us, because it's not just economy, as much as I emphasized in the beginning. It's also security. The Biden administration and the French administration need President Tinubu to help with the issues in West Africa, the military governments and things like that. They need Nigeria to lead. They need Nigeria to lead also in the United Nations Security Council. President Biden has said he doesn't see why Nigeria should not be a permanent member of the Security Council. This is a lot from the profile and reforms that they've seen, the seriousness they've seen this government is put in place.
Okay, yeah. Good. Maybe the last question because of our time. It's about something that I think is an improvement, but there's still something that I imagine ought to be done. So, the president went to South Africa, and it was the president of South Africa himself, President Ramaphosa, that announced that they were easing, the visa restrictions for Nigerians.
Yes.
That's a huge improvement on what happened when the president went to Dubai, UAE, and we announced that they were easing the airline issue, and it turns out they came out to say, oh, no, that's not what's happening. So that's a huge improvement, and we must give the administration the kudos, that we got stuff like that sorted out. However, we still don't have ambassadors in these places, Mr. Oshodi. When is the president going to do that? because by having ambassadors, the president, will increase the respect and the regard, because they consider those ambassadors as his own personal representatives. We don't have an ambassador in Brazil. We don't have an ambassador in Paris. We don't have an ambassador in South Africa. We don't have in New York. We don't have in Washington, D.C. We don't have in Paris.
Well, thank you. The UAE one you mentioned, it's actually ongoing. I think there is visa arrangements for Nigeria. There's also the flight from, the Emirates flies. So that's really been sorted out. Yeah. Regarding the ambassador thing, yes, it's taken a while. If you notice that even, remember, I should say that is the President Tinubu's predecessor took 20 months to bring out his own ambassadors. President Tinubu recalled his ambassadors in October last year. It's less. It's about a year.
Shouldn't be competing for that.
No, but yes, it's not as bad as it seems if you compare history. Yeah, but I believe that the ambassadors are already about to be announced in the next short time. But what Nigerians should know that Nigeria, President Tinubu and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have sent out charged affairs to many of these countries you mentioned. We've sent out consul generals to those ministries. Those are more admin to those countries, to those missions. Those are more admin staff, but they're also a prelude. Right. They're a prelude to the ambassadors, to the heads of Commonwealth, the High Commission for Commonwealth that would take place. So it is a step. It's coming, and obviously it's necessary, but it's coming. And obviously the government has its reasons. I think the minister and some other people mentioned issues of allocation and things like that. Right. We entered a new budgetary year, so I want to believe all that it will take place in the next few weeks. So
I hope so too. It will make a lot of impact, and it will help. Even the president in some of.
But they say the president himself is a great ambassador for the country. His travel, his movement, he does close deals. So I'm not negating the fact that we need the ambassadors or high commissioners. But the president himself is one of the best ambassadors we have. Opening doors and telling people that, look, we're open for business, and this is the if you have any challenges, this is my minister, this is the business community. I'm coming with you, coming with me to close deals. So there's that intent, that purpose that in many cases ambassadors cannot even do.
All right, that's it's good to know that, and I think it's not difficult to agree that the president is a D closer. Thank you so much, Mr. Ademola Oshodi, for coming to Inside Sources. And we hope that you will get more and more, we will record more and more successes, both at home and abroad.
Thank you very much, Lalu.
Thank you so much.
Okay.